Patience. Better put that at the top of the list.
And there's the unsung heroes of the 60 team.
Brad Parrott is watching the big screens, sees himself on camera, gives the folks a wave. Hey, Brad. But right ahead of Carl Edwards is the man I think's had the drive of the day. Stanton Barrett's best ever finish in the NASCAR Busch Series. 5th at Atlanta a long time ago, 1996. And, you know, he's in a position where he could win.
Well, yeah, he is in a position where he can win, but what I'm impressed with, I thought he would get run over or get passed by a lot of these fast cars. He has maintained. He's held that position, and he's up there for a great finish.
I mean, it might take a mistake on Martin Truex's part, because he's in a position to pounce if things come his way.
Well, he's got 8 chances, Martin Truex does, to make a mistake every lap.
Well,
Right.
I think the biggest thing with Stanton Barrett in the 36 car, let's go back. He pitted on lap 39 with 41 laps to go. That's quite a bit further than we thought anybody could run. But we have all these cautions, and you know what? This team, they have nothing to lose. If they can sit here and have a top 5 finish today, that would be like a win. I talked to his owner the other day, John McGill. He said, you know what? We're here to try to be competitive, but we want to have fun.
Martin Truex's crew, they hope their day is done on pit road at least. They'd like to follow that car into victory lane if they can. The other drivers had a great ride. That 32, it says Win on the hood for Win Fuel for Shane Meal. But this young driver has never run a road course race. And just to keep the fenders on that car in his first ever road course race, let alone run in 4th place, that's pretty impressive. We're coming for a restart. Green flag. 63 complete, 17 to go.
Mark Truex Jr. main car got a great restart over Stanton Barrett in the 36 that time. He wants to stretch it out as far as he can early on this restart.
You never count on Russell out either. He's looming and lurking back there. Got that Cup experience. Boy, Stanton's having a hard time on this restart. There's Rusty, and he's in the top 5. And just right here at the end of the day.
Look who's coming. Harvick right behind him. Ooh, big slip and slide there by
somebody's off back
that
there.
was Fedor. Got right back on.
I'll tell you what, the car right behind Kevin Harvick, the 21, as he dives to the inside of Rusty Wallace.
And he dove, too.
He definitely dove.
That was a bold move.
But the car that seems to want to come with him, Rusty's brother, Kenny Wallace, in the 22 car. Didn't have that great of a qualifying run, 35th. He's up there in 7th spot in that 22 car.
Sitters coming back. Jorge Getters into 66.
I don't like the looks of that. That's coming out of the tailpipes.
That is not a good sign here with 17 laps to go. And that moves him up to the top 10.
Matt's in his pit.
My conversation underneath that caution flag, there was some conversation back and forth between the car and the pit about possible engine problems. You can see the telltale sign, the smoke for our pole sitter, Jorge Getters. The oil temperature continues to climb.
Yeah, it's not possible. I think it's definitely happening right now as we see Carl Edwards in the 60 car. He goes into 2nd place by Stanton Barrett in the 36.
Challenge for 3rd. Shane Meal goes to 3rd in the 32. I'm corrected. He has run a road course race. He was 9 years old. It was in a go-kart.
Quite a while ago.
Getters just in front of that yellow freight car. Boris said Getters in 10th. Oh, the smoke continues.
It does, but that's under when the thing is decelerating. It's sucking oil up into the cylinder.
And who's off?
Is that Fedor in the 12th car? And he was up there running in the 12th position. But he's going to lose all the way back to about 35th, which is the number of cars we have on the lead lap. Does not look like he can get that car going again.
It's going to be another caution if he doesn't. Definitely don't look like he's cranking.
Tim overcame a lot of problems. Remember, he had to start at the rear of the field because of a transmission change, and he gets it going. And he's going to be way behind, but he'll still be on the lead lap.
Well, that's the crew chief telling him, waiting for the cars to. Oh, 66 just
blew it up, didn't he?
Yeah.
Jorge Getters, our pole sitter. That's a big-time explosion.
Does he know it?
Caution is out because of this engine right here. What a great run this race team had today.
He knows it now.
Yeah, I think NASCAR, I'm getting a report they're telling him to get off the racetrack because he's going to oil the entire track down.
He'd probably like to get off the racetrack, but he'd like to do it under control.
Well, the hope would be that all of that smoke is burnt up oil, that it's burned up and not dripping onto the racetrack, but that's not likely, is it?
Let's see if we can see here. Looks pretty serious, I might add.
It doesn't have 15 laps left in it, that's for sure.
No.
Turn 4.
I believe we are seeing a little stream of oil right there because he blew up coming down the front stretch, so he's going to have to go all the way around this 2.5-mile racetrack to make it back to the garage. Just at the start-finish line.
Initially, I thought that smoke would just be maybe when he was downshifting, it was sucking a little oil up in the cylinder, but she sucked a little bit more than that up in the cylinder now.
Actually, Darrell, I'm surprised if that oil got on his tires, he was able to get through turn 1 without spinning that car out.
Finally got off the racetrack over on the back side. There you see the safety workers.
You can see the oil on the hood over there on the left side, so it was putting down quite a bit of fluid.
15 laps to go. The pole sitter, Jorge Getters, who drove from the pole to a second-place finish behind his brother in yesterday's Corona Challenge.
Now this is helping. It's helping a couple of guys. It's going to help Boyce Said, moves him up a little bit, gets caught back up, and the 41 car of Sorensen, he's up to 25th with fresh tires.
Let me tell you who really likes it. This team right here, Brad Parrott and the 60 team with Carl Edwards, because now he's second behind Martin Truex Jr., gets him caught up to that leader.
That's an interesting headset. We see that a lot in Cup that Brad Parrott has, where he has actually a mouth cup so that he can talk to his driver without a lot of ambient car noise coming into his microphone.
I mean, this pit road is very, very close to the front stretch, and when all 43 of those cars are on the front stretch at the start of the race or after a restart, you can't even hardly hear yourself think.
Maybe he's had some drivers say, "I can't hear you."
Selective hearing.
Let's see if we can hear Matt.
Mike, that radio setup actually debuted at Bristol about 4 years ago. Retired Marine Major Pat Frossard, who used to work the flight line, came up with that idea, transferred that from the military to a racing type setup, knowing how difficult it is for drivers nowadays to hear the crew chiefs because of the noise level, and it really has helped out, and you can see it. When we go to Bristol in about 4 or 5 weeks, you're going to see probably the majority of the crew chiefs up and down pit road using that type of radio setup.
Yeah, it'll be key there also. That RE setup that Brad has also has noise canceling headphones, kind of like a lot of us wear on the airplanes. So that communication between driver and pit crew, which is so critical, can be understood easily.
But you know, we watched our highlights a while ago as we see Tim Fedewa on pit road for repairs, 4 tires. But Carl Edwards in the 60 car, we saw in the highlight films, that was a hard lick he took. He was sort of relieved that with all the practice on Friday, all he had to do yesterday was make 1 qualifying lap. And talked to him last night. We were over at the ambassador's home for a little get-together, and you know, he was feeling a lot better 24 hours after that crash.
Tim Fedewa is able to continue after bringing out this caution flag. 14 laps to go.
Another guy's had a pretty good run today, Larry, is Ashton Lewis in the 25 car. He's hung around the top. Well, he's 11th now, and he's hung around there pretty much all day long.
Fox tomorrow, the competition kicks into high gear as your favorite finalists compete live. You vote, you decide. Don't miss an all-new American Idol live tomorrow night at 8, 7 Central Time, only on Fox.
And our local fans here have still got a guy in the hunt. Carlos is up there in 7th. He's been there all day.
All day long.
It's a great run for Carlos.
66 of 80 laps complete. Martin Truex Jr. leading for the 3rd time today He's led 31 laps, the most of any driver, as we work the 7th caution flag.
It's not a lot of cars out of a race at a road course with this few laps to go. Attrition somewhat low here.
The rollback will take Getter's car off. He led 24 laps from the pole before making his first pit stop. Another driver we've not spoken much of, Jimmy Morales, had a little problems early in the race, driving the 52 that was qualified by Scott Gaylord, but he's up having a top 20 run.
Good for
number 52.
Jimmy Means. Jimmy Smut Means from Huntsville, Alabama.
Working on that car.
Where's he from?
Huntsville,
yeah.
Just up the road from Birmingham.
Former track champion at the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Yes, sir.
Jimmy come home with a top 15 finish. I'm sure they'd be very pleased.
Let's go back to pit road and Jeff Hammond.
Guys, I was down here in the pit area with James Finch, who's the owner of the one car that Boris said drives, as well as the 28 car that Johnny Sauter is in today. And, you know, he said, all things considered, Jeff, I think we're having a pretty good day. I think Boris can get a few more positions. And if Johnny can stay right where he is, again, big picture racing, he gets a chance to score some valuable driver points. And that's what part of this stuff is all about, is to try to continue to look at the big picture. And that's one of the reasons why they put Boris into one car and Johnny into 28. He can get some seat time, kind of like driver car owner things. They're really trying to do a lot of big picture racing down here with this yellow freight team.
Well, I'd say considering about less than 20 laps ago, he was back in 33rd, 34th position. He's knocking on door. Well, he's in the top 10 now. I'd say that's a pretty good recovery.
The local hero, as pointed out early in the broadcast, the Dale Earnhardt Jr. of Mexico. There is Adrian Fernandez in the Lowe's number 5 after having to serve that penalty for pitting too early along with Boris Said and Jamie McMurray. He's fought his way back into the top 20. Came in here as the overwhelming pre-race favorite, but crashed in qualifying and had to start based on car owner points at the back of the field.
If it hadn't been for that little miscue coming on pit road, I think he had a car that could win this race.
And you guys talk about the popularity. Daryl, you and I were talking this morning. Over 105 million people in Mexico a couple of years ago. And when you consider all the sports down here, baseball, soccer, Adrian Fernandez was awarded the Athlete of the Year in Mexico.
"13 laps to go in the inaugural TelCel Motorola Mexico 200 presented by Banamex. Now, Fernandez, known as an open-wheel driver, he's had success in kart and in the Indy Racing League, where he raced until the end of last season. Unexpectedly lost his sponsor at the end of last year. So while the IRL Indy cars are in Homestead Miami Speedway in Florida today, his drivers, led by Scott Sharp, driving cars he owns. But he's here driving in this Busch Series race. And there's one of his fans wearing his colors.
But just to update you, own Adrian Fernandez in the 5 car. And Jeff Hammond was talking about Boris Said in the 1, as well as Jamie McMurray in the 42. Those 3 guys probably had cars that were in contention to win this race. But we had a caution come out about 20 laps ago, and those guys did not make it to pit road. When pit road was still open, it was closed. They received a penalty. They had to go to the rear of the field, and they are trying their best to fight their way back. These cautions are not helping them.
13 laps to go. New Jersey's Martin Truex Jr., the reigning champion, trying to win NASCAR's first ever Busch Series race in Mexico.